Imagine if the biggest gift you could give your child isn't a toy, a school, or a perfect routine, but a new way of understanding them. That is the heart of Philippa Perry's book, the book you wish your parents had read and your children will be glad that you did. It invites you to start parenting from the inside out, beginning with your relationship to your own feelings, and then the relationship you build with your child. The first big idea is simple and powerful. Children do not need a perfect parent. They need a parent who is emotionally present and connected. Emotional connection means your child feels understood. It means their feelings are not treated as a problem. It means they can come to you when they are scared, angry, or confused without fearing that your love will disappear. Many parenting struggles do not start when a child shouts or refuses to listen. They start earlier, with the silent messages children receive about emotions. Messages like your feelings are too much. Stop crying. Do not be angry. Be strong. These messages are sometimes spoken, but often they are delivered through tone, impatience, or dismissal. Over time, a child learns either to hide emotions or to explode with them, because no one taught them how to handle what they feel. Perry then asks a question that changes everything. How can you teach your child to regulate their emotions if you do not regulate your own? That is why the beginning of the book is not only about the child. It is about you, about your history, about what you learned in your own childhood, about the phrases you heard, the rules you absorbed, the fears you carry, and the ways those patterns can quietly repeat when you are stressed or tired. She explains emotional inheritance. You might promise yourself you will not parent like your parents did. Yet under pressure, you may find the old script rising in your voice. Not because you want to harm your child, but because the brain reaches for what it already knows when it feels threatened. Awareness is the first step to breaking that cycle. From there, the book offers a key shift. Parenting is not about controlling the child. It is about building a relationship. A secure relationship creates safety. Safety helps a child learn, calm down, and cooperate. Control through fear can create short-term obedience, but it damages trust and teaches the child to behave only to avoid punishment, not because they understand or feel supported. A central point in this first part is that behavior is not the whole story. Behavior is communication. When a child hits, screams, lies, throws things, or refuses, they are rarely saying, "I am bad." More often they are saying, "I am overwhelmed. I am scared. I am frustrated. I do not know how to express this." If you treat behavior as an enemy to crush, you miss the message. If you treat it as a signal to understand, you can address the real need behind it. Perry suggests a simple but deep approach. Instead of correcting the child instantly, begin with 3 steps. First, notice the feeling. What might your child be feeling right now? Anger, fear, disappointment, jealousy, shame. Second, name the feeling in a calm and respectful way. You look really angry because you wanted to keep playing. Third, set a boundary without attacking the child. It is okay to be angry, but it is not okay to hit. This teaches the child a life-changing lesson. Feelings are allowed. Harmful actions are not. The book also warns about shame. Shame sounds like you are bad, you are stupid, you are embarrassing, what is wrong with you? Shame does not improve behavior. It changes how a child sees themselves. When children start believing they are bad, they often act from that identity. Perry recommends criticizing the action, not the child. Instead of "You are messy," say "This room needs tidying." Instead of "You are a liar," say "I need you to tell me the truth." Another important message is that listening is not spoiling. Listening means making space for your child to express what they feel. It does not mean you agree with everything or give them whatever they want. You can be firm and still respectful. When a child feels heard, they often become calmer because many outbursts are really a desperate attempt to be seen. Finally, Perry offers something hopeful and practical. Children do not need you to get it right all the time. They need repair. If you lose your temper and shout, you can return later and apologize. Apologizing does not weaken your authority. It strengthens the relationship and teaches your child that mistakes can be owned and relationships can be healed. It shows your child that love is not the absence of conflict, but the willingness to reconnect after conflict. So the first part of the book can be summed up like this. If you want a happier child, do not start with behavior. Start with connection. Become a safe place for your child's emotions, not a battlefield for them. A child who feels safe at home does not need to search for safety elsewhere. When a child is upset, they are not trying to ruin your day. Most of the time, they are asking a deeper question. Are you still with me when I am difficult? In this second part, the book moves from the big ideas into the everyday moments that exhaust parents, and it explains how to guide children without breaking the relationship. One of Philippa Perry's main points is that many parents focus on a single question. How do I make my child listen? But the better question is, how do I help my child feel safe with me? Safety is what supports learning, cooperation, and self-control. When a child does not feel safe or understood, that stress often comes out as difficult behavior. She explains something practical about the brain. When your child is in the middle of a meltdown, they cannot learn a lesson. Their reasoning system is not in charge. Their feelings are. So if you try to lecture, threaten, or explain too much in that moment, it will not land. What helps first is regulation, calming the nervous system, and letting the child know you are steady. After calm returns, teaching becomes possible. This is why Perry encourages parents to become a regulator for their child. Children borrow calm from adults before they can create it alone. If you tell your child to calm down while you are angry, your child learns anger, not calm. Your nervous system is part of the parenting toolkit. Your tone, pace, and body language often matter more than your words. Then the book talks about boundaries. Children need boundaries, but the way boundaries are delivered changes everything. A boundary can be respectful, or it can be humiliating. Respectful boundaries protect the child and protect others. Humiliating boundaries try to control through fear or shame. Perry's approach is clear. Your child is acceptable. Not every action is acceptable. You can stop a behavior without attacking who your child is. A major warning here is about using love as a weapon. Statements like "I will not love you if you do that," "Go away, I do not want you," or "I am done with you," can create deep insecurity. A child may obey, but the message they learn is, love is conditional. I am only safe when I perform. Over time, this can shape a child into someone who people pleases or someone who rebels because they are tired of earning love. Perry also highlights consistency. Many conflicts come from unclear expectations or rules that change with the parent's mood. Children do better when they know what to expect. That does not mean harsh rules. It means simple, clear limits and predictable responses. Consistency creates security, and security reduces conflict. Another key point is attention. Sometimes difficult behavior grows because it is the only reliable way to get a parent's full focus. If a child gets connection only when they misbehave, they learn that misbehavior is a path to closeness. Perry suggests giving small doses of connection before problems start. A few minutes each day of true presence, no phone, no instructions, no testing, just being together, can reduce the need for attention-seeking behavior. The book also questions the long-term value of rewards and punishments. They can work short-term, but they often weaken a child's inner motivation. When children learn to behave mainly for prizes or to avoid punishment, they may not learn responsibility. They learn negotiation, hiding, or doing the minimum. Perry favors building understanding. Help your child see why a rule exists in language that fits their age. That builds internal guidance, not just external compliance. Then she addresses a real issue. Parents lose it. You will shout sometimes. You will have moments you regret. The goal is not perfection. The goal is repair. Repair means you come back when things are calm and take responsibility. You say, "I am sorry I shouted, I was overwhelmed. That is not how I want to speak to you. Next time I will try to pause." This does not make you weak. It models emotional maturity and teaches that relationships can recover. Perry also brings the focus back to the parent's emotional state. Your reaction to your child is often intensified by your own stress, exhaustion, or old wounds. Sometimes a child's behavior triggers feelings from your past. That is why self-care is not selfish. It supports patience. A parent who has no support and no rest will struggle to stay calm, even with the best intentions. She also warns against comparing children. Comparing a child to siblings or other kids rarely motivates. It often creates shame and insecurity. Instead, notice your child's own progress and effort. Praise the trying, the practice, the courage, not a fixed label like you are the smartest. That builds resilience. The core lesson of this second part is simple. Your child learns who they are through the relationship you build with them. Firmness without respect breaks trust. Warmth without boundaries creates confusion. The goal is both connection and limits. A parent who can stay steady, listen, name feelings, and set clear boundaries is teaching a child the skill that matters most: how to live with their emotions without being controlled by them. In this third part, the book moves deeper into the hardest daily situations and shows how to respond in a way that reduces drama over time instead of feeding it. Main shift is this: when children act out, they are often not being bad, they are struggling. Your job is not to win the moment. Your job is to guide the child back to safety and learning. Start with tantrums and big emotional storms. Perry explains that a tantrum is usually emotional overload, not a plan to manipulate you. Young children do not yet have the language and brain development to handle frustration smoothly. So the feelings come out through the body, loud, messy, intense. In those moments, your calm is the tool. If you escalate, the tantrum escalates. If you shame the child may stop, but they learn fear and disconnection instead of regulation. The book suggests a simple order: connect first, then correct. Connection can be as small as a steady presence and a few honest words. I see you are really upset. This is hard. I am here. Then you hold the boundary. I will not let you hit. You can be angry, but you cannot hurt people. The child learns that feelings are allowed and limits still exist. Over time, this builds self-control because the child is learning what to do with feelings, not how to hide them. Then there is stubbornness and refusal. Perry reframes this as a need for autonomy. Children spend most of their day being told what to do. They naturally look for places where they can feel some power. The solution is not to crush their will. The solution is to give them controlled choices. Do you want the red shirt or the blue one? Do you want to brush your teeth now or in 2 minutes? Choices reduce battles because the child gets a sense of agency while you keep the structure. Next, sibling jealousy and rivalry. Perry emphasizes that jealousy is not a character flaw. It is fear of losing connection. A child who sees you caring for a baby or giving attention to a sibling may feel replaced. The best response is not to scold the jealousy. It is to name it and reassure the relationship. It makes sense you feel upset. You want me too. You matter to me. Then you create small moments of exclusive attention, even 10 minutes of focused time. This reduces competition because the child experiences love as stable, not scarce. She also warns against turning the older child into a helper all the time. Encouraging kindness is good, but making a child responsible for adult-level patience can create resentment. Let them be a child. Keep expectations age-appropriate. That protects both the relationship and the child's emotional development. Fear and anxiety are another major area. Many parents respond with "do not be scared," which is meant to comfort but can feel like dismissal. Perry suggests validating first. You are scared. Tell me what you imagine will happen. When you help a child describe fear, the fear becomes more manageable. Then you can offer support in small steps. We can try this together. I will stay close. We can practice. The goal is not to erase fear instantly. The goal is to teach the child that fear can be faced without shame. Then the book addresses lying. Perry points out that children lie for different reasons. Sometimes they fear punishment. Sometimes they fear disappointing you. Sometimes they are experimenting with imagination. The most useful question is not how do I catch them? It is what made honesty feel unsafe. If a child expects anger or humiliation, they will hide the truth. Perry recommends creating a climate where truth leads to problem solving. The cup broke. Let's figure out what happened and what we do next. When honesty is met with steadiness, honesty grows. Another crucial topic is praise and confidence. Perry warns about praise that turns into a label. You are so smart, you are the best. Labels can make children afraid to fail because failure threatens the identity. Instead, praise effort and process. You kept trying. You worked hard. You asked for help. You were kind. This builds resilience because the child learns that growth matters more than perfection. Throughout these chapters, Perry returns to repair as a parenting superpower. You will mess up sometimes. You will shout or say something too harsh. The healthiest thing you can do is return and repair. I am sorry I shouted. I was overwhelmed. You did not deserve that tone. I am working on being calmer. This teaches children something priceless. Relationships can be repaired. People can take responsibility. Love does not disappear when things get messy. The deeper message in this third part is that children become emotionally strong not because they never struggle, but because someone stays with them through the struggle. When you respond to big feelings with calm presence, clear boundaries, and respect, your child learns a skill that will protect them for life. They learn that emotions are information, not danger, and that they can handle what they feel without hurting themselves or others. In this final part, Philippa Perry brings everything back to the long game. Parenting is not just about getting through today's arguments, bedtime battles, or public meltdowns. It is about what your child carries inside when they grow up. The real question is not, will my child behave perfectly? The real question is, will my child feel safe enough to be honest with me, to ask for help, and to trust themselves? One of the strongest ideas here is that children remember emotional patterns more than specific events. They may forget the details of a fight, but they will remember whether home felt safe, whether they could come to you when they were struggling, and whether love felt steady or conditional. When a child repeatedly experiences connection, repair, and respect, they build an inner sense that says, I matter, my feelings make sense, and I can cope. Perry talks about breaking the cycle. Many parents carry pain from their own childhood and they promise to do things differently. But under stress, the old patterns can come back automatically because they were learned early and deeply. The way out is not shame. The way out is awareness. You begin to notice what triggers you, what you say when you feel powerless, and what you learn to believe about emotions. When you see the pattern, you can choose a different response. This is not just parenting your child. It is also reparenting yourself. She also emphasizes that your child learns far more from what you do than what you tell them. If you want your child to apologize, let them see you apologize. If you want your child to speak respectfully, let them hear you speak respectfully even when you are angry. If you want your child to handle conflict without cruelty, show them what that looks like in your home. Children absorb tone, attitude, and relational habits like a language. As children grow, boundaries need to change. When they are very young, they need clear external structure because they cannot manage it alone. As they get older, the goal is to move from control to guidance. You gradually give more responsibility, more choice, and more room to learn from consequences. That transition is not always comfortable, especially in the teen years, but it is necessary. A teenager needs independence while still needing a secure base. If you respond to their growing independence with heavy control, you may get secrecy. If you respond with total withdrawal, you may get distance. The balance is steady connection and clear limits. Perry explains that teenagers often look like they are pushing you away, but they still need to know you are there. They need a relationship that can hold disagreement without collapsing. That means you can set boundaries and still stay respectful. You can say no without humiliation. You can express concern without interrogation. You can be curious instead of accusatory. The goal is to keep a door open so that when life gets messy, your child still knows where safety lies. A key warning in this last part is about making love dependent on performance. When children feel that approval depends on grades, behavior, success, or being easy, they may become anxious and perfectionistic, or they may rebel because they are tired of earning love. Perry's alternative is clear. Love is stable. Behavior is guided. You can disapprove of an action while still accepting the child. When that distinction is consistent, children become more able to take responsibility because mistakes do not threaten their belonging. She returns again to the power of repair. There will be moments when you say the wrong thing, when you are too harsh, when you shut down, when you react from fear instead of care. Repair is how you protect the relationship over time. Repair is you coming back and saying, "I did not handle that well. I am sorry. I want to try again." What happened for you in that moment? This is not weakness. This is leadership. It teaches your child that accountability is normal and that closeness can return after conflict. Another practical idea is to focus on problem solving rather than blame. When something goes wrong, instead of turning it into a trial, turn it into a conversation about next steps. What happened? What do we need to do now? What could we do differently next time? This approach builds competence and responsibility, and it keeps the relationship intact. In the end, Perry's message is hopeful. Children do not need a flawless childhood to become healthy adults. They need a relationship where emotions are allowed, where limits are clear, and where mistakes are repaired. When you offer that, you give your child something that lasts longer than rules. You give them inner security. And with inner security, they can handle failure, manage conflict, and build strong relationships in their own life. If this series helped you, leave a comment with your child's age and the biggest challenge you are facing, and I will suggest practical steps based on these ideas. And if you want more parenting book summaries like this, subscribe so you do not miss the next one.